CTV family. Catch us live on your TV screen.
Usahleli nathi apha ku Ekse live on DSTV channel 263 mna ngegama nginguMihlali, and you have just missed a stellar performance by Ivy, giving us motivation that we need to take on the new month that is coming tomorrow. But for today, it is International World Overdose Day, and Stacey is going to be telling us more about that, unpacking it. If you are suffering from mental health issues and you need ways in which how you can protect yourself and keep yourself safe, Stacey is here to tell you all about that. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I am very well. So before we get started, can you please unpack what drug overdose is?
So drug overdose is basically when an individual takes more than the intended or expected amount of drugs or prescription medication, and it has a harmful effect on the body. Mm-hmm. It's also when an individual mixes, a combination of drugs or medication, say like prescription medication with alcohol.
What leads to people overdosing?
So there's multiple factors. First of all, people struggling, with substance use disorders or abusing substances, because it is a mood and mind altering substance. It often places them in a position where they're not able to make clear and sound decisions, and so they are then at risk of overdose. But also people that struggle with severe mental illness like depression, bipolar mood disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and schizophrenia, amongst others, that is often a trigger for overdose as well. And then things like, physical pain that is quite unmanageable, so people might take an excess of medication, and so they might have an unintentional overdose. Overdose can be unintentional, but it can also be intentional.
What are some of the signs that we can look into when a person has addiction that might actually lead to overdosing?
Okay. So addiction, or rather substance abuse addiction, is basically when an individual, has an excessive need for the substance. So they spend a lot of time finding the substance, regardless of the negative consequences. So even if using the substance causes difficulties in their relationship, or it has consequences for work, they continue the use of the substance. And also tolerance levels change. So that basically means the person needs more of the drug to get the initial effect or the desired effect.
So in the case where someone has an overdose, we think that maybe you see someone that you might think that they have done an overdose. How can we help them, and how do you see that, okay, this person might have overdosed with a certain pill or substance?
So of course, an overdose will require, it is a medical emergency. And I think the way that we can often notice or pick up is basically, it's physically. So if the person loses conscious, if the person has difficulty breathing, extreme agitation, impulsivity, discoloration in the body as well. And such a person will need to get to a clinic or a hospital as soon as possible.
But I think in South Africa also what you find is that sometimes ambulances take time to actually get to the destination. So as a person, and you're seeing like you're also in a mode of panic, what do you then do in that instance where there's someone in front of you that might have taken an overdose, but the ambulance is taking forever to arrive?
Yeah, so definitely the ambulances do sometimes take forever. So in a case like that, it would be, calling on neighbors or calling on family support and rushing that person to your closest clinic, your closest general practitioner, or the nearest hospital in your community.
And before we wrap it up, if I'm suffering from mental illness and I really need that motivation, what can I do as myself to actually get me out of that dark space that might lead to me overdosing?
Okay, so first of all, there are numerous mental health facilities, within our country, both private and public funded. So you can go to your nearest clinic or your nearest hospital and check, the availability of psychologists, social workers, psychiatrists. but then also in your own capacity, reach out for support to your loved ones, your family, your friend, things like exercise, things like journaling.
Just to keep you busy. Thank you so much, Stacey, for joining us today. Guys, if you want to be a presenter on Ekse Live, please make sure that you check out this promo. Today is the last day to send through those auditions.
Cape Town TV is looking for new presenters. Yes, you heard it. Ekse Live is looking for new people to join the team. Darling, this is all about you. Now the requirements are pretty simple. All you have to do is upload a video that is not longer than 2 minutes of you doing what you do best, darling, and that is TV presenting. Tag us on all your social media platforms. It is Ekse_Live on Twitter, as well as on Instagram, as well as Ekse Live on Facebook. Remember to use the hashtag CTV Presenter Search so we actually can see your video, and hopefully you might find yourself on this beautiful studio. Remember to let your people know that they must like, they must share the post, because the more likes you get, the more shares you get, the better the chances are for you to come back to be here for a callback. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be above the ages of 18 to 26 to audition, and you need to live in Cape Town. Remember,
CTV family.